We got. Oh, we had one. So on it was, that's okay. So. Here. Like, probably making it. A little short there.
Welcome to the thing. Is it that time?
That time.
Call the meeting to order, begin with roll call.
Mr. Dilts,
Here.
Ms. Jones,
Here.
Mr. Clance is absent. Mike Toll. Here. Mr. Salzire. Here. Mr. Uzelak, maybe sort of eventually. Attorney Cassell. Here. And I'm here.
Great. Join us in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have a motion to approve tonight's agenda?
Motion.
A second. Motion and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Have a motion to approve last meeting's board minutes?
Motion.
Second.
Discussion? Great notes as usual. All those in favor say aye.
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 Dave, are you hearing this? Yeah. Okay.
We got one more aye? Great. No old business, moving on to new business. Quote for office roof replacement. Please.
See, there is a couple quotes, for here, our corporate office. It's that time, we have some leaks and, so the top one would be, Smooth Brothers. And, you can see that it was, 38,747, but add on to the extended warranty adds about 1,900 to it, so make it to a total of 40,675. And if you look at Berlin, it's a bit more. With the 69,200.
Motion to get that. I'll make a motion to, as long as everything looks the same as far as the work that's gonna be performed, to go with the lowest bidder on that. And the extended warranty, because it's still left.
Yeah. We've done business with both Blue and Corrales, and they're both
Contractors, quality contractors, yeah.
And Craig's tired of rain dripping on his desk when it rains.
I don't blame them.
Do we have a motion? Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion and seconded. Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Just be able to keep moving, and it was on his desk, and then it started hitting him in the head. All over the place. The water's weird, man.
It finds its way.
Moving on with the agenda, hunting dates and fees.
Yep, I'll take that.
Ready?
Yep, that time of the year again. Fall's approaching fast, football season's here, so with that, we have our 2025-26 fall, winter, and spring hunting season. So you'll see we went ahead and updated the dates that were provided from Indiana DNR. We follow Indiana DNR and their season as far as that goes, so that's the way we go with it. And, so with that, the typical seasons with our waterfowl, geese, ducks, coots, mergansers, youth and veteran. We might have a potential season for teal if we did get some more rain. We're not quite sure yet, but depending on water levels in the park, there could be an early September season for teal, but we haven't had that in a while, so it'll depend on that. Right now, it's not looking good, but in case there would be, that might happen, so. And then you'll see the deer with the different options there, and then also wild turkey season for the marsh as well. And then in the back, you'll see the hunting fees. All the hunting fees we propose to keep the same from the previous year. The only increase we would propose would be the deer license. And to be honest, we've actually had deer hunters that you'll see they will get multiple licenses because they'll put multiple stands up in the park to be able to take into account wind direction and all that kind of thing. And so they actually came to us and several of them did say that they would be okay with an increase with the license fee. So we decided to do that. And some of them even suggested it because of the quality of hunts they get in the park. So with that would be our only increase as far as the fees go. So if there's any questions or anything, I'd be happy to answer them for you.
Motion of, increase.
You need a motion on both.
Okay.
One,
I think it's one,
yeah, you can do it.
fees and schedule.
Schedule on fee for the hunting season, you can do the comment.
I'll then make a motion to, accept the proposal for the upcoming season for the fees, and the increase, in the fees. Also, and the dates for the season, for the Indiana, state waterfall and, or hunting regulations.
We have a motion, do we have a second? Any further discussion?
So these dates are exactly what the state has?
Yeah. I don't think you can go outside.
Restricted more.
Yeah, we are bound by the state waterfall biologists and deer biologists. And early in the year, and then the hunting guide that they give out to hunters, and all the dates are.
I believe we could go shorter, but we can't. Well, it's within the range.
If there's no further discussion, all those in favor say aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries. Resolution for easement agreement with the city of Crown Point. On that one.
Okay, then.
Great.
It's a utility easement, for sewer and water. And there's a couple changes in it. We were added up to last night, so we didn't have time to get it, typed up and printed and out here. The change would be the $4,048 is now $8,096, which is double. And that's due to the fact that there was a flaw in the legal description, which, they left out the south half, and they described the north half. So it was 8,000 square feet instead of 4,000 square feet. We don't have to have a formal appraisal, so we have a letter from Jeff Vale. And he proposed the 88,000, the fact that he'd appraised the property at 88,000 per acre, pretty simple. But, he said, half of the 4,000 square feet would be a cost of $4,050. So times two, it's $8,096. He applied a 50% equation to the fact that it's just an easement and not too simple, and that's appropriate. But anyway, with the easement is rather lengthy. They gave me an easement that was like two sentences long. You're gonna have people working there, you're gonna have, and this is a good template now for future easements, I think. This easement will handle just about everything up to sort of a high pressure gas main. And we're gonna have a lot of easements across those properties as the years go by. At any rate, two minor concessions to the change that they asked for, which I have no problem with, is just to, on the length of the easement was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines down from the top. After the word right of way, adding the word for vehicular and pedestrian ingress and egress. And, I have no problem with that. They basically want to be able to walk on the property, which they have that right anyway, but I guess they wanted that in there. And then the same phraseology under paragraph 2, terms and conditions. Ingress and egress for vehicular and pedestrian across the easement property. Other than that, no marked up changes to this that I presented to them. So we have a revised legal description, which we'll add to it. We have a few words changed in the easement, and we have the doubling of the price. And that's it.
So the appraisal that he put on here is essentially you could just apply the second sentence that says 0.92 acres is worth 8,000.
Their legal description, it was flawed. They left out it would be the north half. So, they only have the legal description for 4,000 square feet, the south half. And they will cross into their property, to make their water line. So that's corrected.
And that's what this pipeline is gonna be, is it one?
It's gonna be water and sewer. So it's utilities for City of Crown Point.
This is along the Veterans Memorial Trail. Is that Delaware, Craig?
It's right across from the Franciscan
This is probably the
property.
hospital.
Okay, so this is the Carroll property, well, right across from the hospital is Franciscan property.
Correct, yeah.
Yeah, they're just crossing.
So any construction they do, they're gonna put it right to the normal grade.
Is this the Atlas project? It's with the Crown Point? What, you know, what it's,
Well, the property that this is in front of is owned by the Franciscan.
okay. But I mean, what, as far as, who Crown Point's asking for this then, or what? Okay. For the city though, right?
Right,
Yeah.
and I'm sure that they're extending services
Out
down
that way.
that way, whatever developments are gonna occur on the north side of 231. And the city boundary is Iowa?
No, it's actually 129th, is that it?
Oh, where it cuts over?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
actually the boundary.
Yeah, that little,
Stretch 129th Iowa is still unincorporated Center Township.
yeah, kind of where the highway or whatever it is now.
Yeah.
This isn't gonna affect any use of the trail, right?
No.
And they're gonna put put it back to its normal state?
It's all for them.
And then it wouldn't say, how many feet is it, Lou?
Total 8,000 square feet.
All right, I'll make a motion to accept the resolution, 02, or no.
2025.
2025-02, and then it's 8,000, the amount of $8,096.
8,096, yeah.
You want to change it, resolution before, I've got it wrong all the time.
Right, it should be changed, it could be, I could supply a corrected one.
You can have a resolution per Lou's
Yeah.
changes and just do it that way.
He can amend the resolution.
To be amended.
To be amended for,
Yeah.
8,096.
and those little, you know,
Yeah.
just want to have it per Lou's amendment.
Amendment.
Yeah.
I'll read that.
We'll get that all out to you tomorrow, off type.
No, I appreciate that.
Thank you.
I'll second that.
Open and seconded. Any further discussion? There being none, all those in favor say aye. 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 Sounds like a pass.
Almost paid your turn.
No.
Moving down the agenda, acceptance of claims. We have a motion.
To accept the claims.
Second. Motion seconded, discussion, questions?
I have a couple of them, Nate.
Sure.
The Michigan office for 26,000.
So Michigan Office Solutions is a subsidiary of Xerox, and they were providing services for us. They were backing up and monitoring all the servers here at the corporate office at the water park and providing security updates and doing like remote backup. Our contract had expired with them in September of last year, but they weren't billing us. They were still providing services. So they had reached out to us, and we never gave them 90 days notice. We didn't even know that was a thing with them. And so now we're in the process of switching away from them. We've given them their 90-day notice that they want to get that's for the payment for the period in between September and now, but they were still providing those services.
Thank you. And then Midwest Marketing Organization, I know I've asked this a few times. Have we ever come to it, or have we ever figured out a way to track marketing that this guy is doing for us as to whether it's being successful or not? Because we're gonna pay him $170,000. And I'm just curious as to, and I know he's been here a long time and you've been
Well,
doing things with him.
and most of this, the past, most of what Tom gets, Midwest Marketing, that 100,000 is, we bought radio time on his thing or billboard. He's paying for it. And we're paying back. Because we just can't
make the deals.
and we can't, pay them and he's a certified advertising agency, so he can do all this and get it done. And most of the stuff, he gets 10% of the sale. So if it's $100 sale, he gets $10. If we were to buy it, it would be $100. So we're the same thing. Tracking it, we have done surveys at the water park before, and they're not reliable. People have told us that they heard it on a radio station that we've never advertised on. Or, it's a really tough thing for us to track. And in today's marketing world, everything is so fragmented, whether it's newspapers, radio, or what was it? Nobody watches television anymore.
Well, there is nobody listening to radio.
We have these internal discussions, and it's just what we did 30 years ago is not the way it is anymore. So tracking it becomes a bit more problematic than it always was. So the answer is no. There's no way.
But Tom is tracking like click-throughs on like things
He
that
does,
we do like
yeah.
digitally. So if we're making like a Facebook post, he can tell us how many people clicked the link on Facebook and then carried on to the webpage and all
But
that.
that's the thing.
It is.
I can tell you that those numbers, the click-throughs, all that stuff that we've been doing through social media has been a little heavier this year. And we've seen more people like attracted to the stuff we've been doing. And that's kind of shown up in our attendance. The attendance is up this year. So, and he's also been doing some other things with our private parties that we're seeing positive.
Part of Tom's contract is also to book groups.
Yeah.
I mean, that's where he gets a fair amount of his income is he has a retainer and then he books groups. So that's what he does. And that all started because when we started, we just didn't have his expertise, and it's continued on. Sooner or later, Tom is getting older like all of us. And he and I have had conversations about what's going to happen down the road. But
So this money that we're paying him, some of that is for reimbursement on what he's already paid.
Most of that
Most of
is,
it.
yeah, most of that is what that is.
And then, so then at the end of the year, do we give him a 1099 for all of this amount, or how does that work? I'm just, because I see it as 108.62, and if we're reimbursing him, it probably should be separate, wouldn't it, as opposed to actually?
Honestly, John, I don't know how he accounted for it.
Yeah.
Through Midwest Marketing. I honestly don't know the answer to that question.
yeah, I don't know, we could find out. The total spend in marketing
we
is
could
around
find
300 a year for that.
Mhm.
And it's been,
And he does take it through the business. So, I mean, yeah, everything we pay out is paid to Midwest Marketing. It's not paid to him as any kind of income at all. It is to
and
Midwest.
I don't know how he does it. He can pay.
Sure, that's something I've never asked was how he accounts for his, I don't know.
And that's every aspect of parks water park, everything new?
No, just water park.
Just water park?
Mhm.
That's all just for water park?
All just for the water park, and it's been started at about 250,000, and really hasn't changed much. And that's not, if anything, it's an okay number, maybe on the low side. The Chicago market is incredibly difficult because it's very expensive
Yeah,
to buy anything.
yeah.
So that isn't bad. And I will add that Tom has, over all these years, provided a lot of free work to the department and helped support us in other things. And we don't necessarily, we buy some advertising and marketing now, but we never used to, because we just don't have that in our budget and in our makeup. Tom always handled that in terms of negotiating if it got to that point. He was the paid person. He was the one that would say, your numbers are not good and we're not gonna pay you that,
Right.
because everybody will tell you how great they're.
And for everything we paid for, he would get us trades.
Yeah.
So we may pay for this, but over here, like with the mix, when the mix was so hot, we would work out trades with them and, we would get them out here.
We still get that, to the Valpo station,
Yeah, we
we'll
still
pull that trade.
Yeah.
Our radio's gotten weak, TV's gotten weak, people stream now, they stream their music. That's why we went back to billboards, because that was one way we could guarantee that if you're driving, you're gonna see something.
You can hear it.
But it was,
I didn't realize how much that, so we're looking at $3 for the year for advertising just for the water park.
Yep. That's pretty much an industry standard. And we could sit down in a better format and explain, the water park expenses. You'll see a bill in there, the NIPSCO.
Yeah.
For like utilities, that's 1 month, 98,000, 1 month just for electric. The water park operation it generates revenue, but there's a fair amount of expenses. And over all the years, I've heard, you guys have been making a lot of money, there's a lot of cars there, but nobody sees the expenses. Whether it's labor, which is number one, followed by utilities.
well, it's
Followed by,
the utility thing is gonna be even.
It's already gone up 10%.
Yeah.
It's already, it was pretty big.
It's not
Not gonna stop right now, I tell you that.
No, I know, this is the
Yeah.
point.
It's your point.
Yeah,
Right. Good point.
so it's, the water park operation is expansive and complicated and has a lot of expense points and revenue points and things we do. Like I said, 300,000 doesn't shock me or surprise me for what,
A lot of people are shocked that it's that little.
and the other thing, yeah, well, you have to look at it too. You could buy, and on a local radio station, maybe an ad would cost you $100, and in Chicago it would cost you 1,000. I'm making numbers up.
Right.
But locally, you're reaching, 500 people versus 5,000 to 10,000. So what Tom looks at is the actual impressions and impact we have. We could spend a lot less, but the impact would be significantly less. We once bought a billboard on, what was it, going to the Edens maybe? It was like $12,000 for 1 month. But the traffic on there, most of it going 5 miles an hour, getting out of
The impression, the
impression is that
way
we're like, okay, the value of this is really much greater than, and we got past that number.
Because we've had billboards in the city, like within the.
That was
In the loop.
But basically, your social media, your billboard, everything.
Everything.
Okay. I don't know, it might be something to look at. I mean, that's, now that when you brought it up and stuff, and maybe get a committee together and look at it and see down the road or something, see if we can, 'cause social media, I mean, it's amazing what you could do with social media and geofencing and all that
The
stuff.
cost though is not what it used to be.
Well, and we
No,
do,
but you could pay somebody, you could actually probably have internal employees to do that for you, and it would be cheaper than doing that almost.
well, internal employees are gonna become more difficult in a couple of years.
Yeah.
But in terms of geofencing and all, Tom
Yeah.
does that, we do that. We tried to geofence schools, but that's illegal.
Yeah.
And we might be able to get Tom down here for a meeting now.
Well,
Well, it's,
you know, to talk about.
It's a personal thing that Tom has not been able to be here for family reasons.
Yeah.
Because
That just changed.
he knows Chris, he knows Louis.
Yeah.
And then, and that's about it. Staff, but.
Yeah, it used to be when times were different, he would be here every couple of years for a meeting and meet the board and talk to them, but.
Yeah, I don't think I see.
Yeah, he is, his wife, I don't.
Yeah. No, that's what he just.
Okay.
All right.
But they're very good reviews.
To try to get a look into it a little bit more, I agree. So, all right, thank you.
Did you have more?
I know that I've heard this, about the same number of ads that I always hear every year, and it's always a pleasure to hear an ad for the water park.
Yeah.
It makes my day. I don't ever turn them
Well,
on.
that's, a lot of people gauge this summer by the water park ads coming on. As soon as they hear it, summer's coming.
Well, you know in three notes what it is.
Yep.
Yes.
You know, I think it was Carl Von Ash, who was on the board. He was complaining that he didn't hear any ads on the radio. And like, well, Carl, you're not a market and we don't advertise on that station.
Yeah.
And they actually, and they started saying, I mean, it's out there.
Oh, yeah.
Very good.
If there are no more questions, all those in favor, say aye, accepting the claims.
Aye.
Motion passed. Report. I don't believe we have policy and personnel, budget and finance unless there's an update on the budget, and that was last meeting. Goals and objectives, land acquisition.
Right, well, we just completed the purchase of the Miraz property.
Yeah, that was in the,
Oh, fantastic, yeah.
Yeah, he's probably gonna do
You got
that.
it?
no, but I was gonna mention that.
Yeah, go ahead, that's fine.
Then division reports. Start today.
Started off,
Right?
yeah.
Yes.
For my report, I was gonna go ahead and introduce a project that we've been working on and kind of a proposal that we have from the state of Indiana, DNR. So that's kind of with a couple of the extra additions here that we put in for you for last minute. But what we have is at both our Beaver Dam site and also Cedar Lake Marsh site, the state had come to us well over a year ago, and they really would like to provide more hunting opportunities for the public in Lake County. Lake County, one of the more populous counties in the state. There's a lot of hunters here, and so they want to try and provide some more opportunities. And with both those sites, they actually are half titled from when we first purchased those sites themselves and our Lake Heritage Parks Foundation. Now, that's done back from the properties were acquired. The Cedar Lake Marsh site was acquired through a NACA grant, North American Wetlands Conservation Act, through U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, specifically our KPP partnership. So that site right now totals about 420 acres, and the DNR Lake Heritage Parks Foundation are half titled on about 283 acres of that site. You'll see one of the handouts, Cedar Lake Marsh site, there's a black line drawn through kind of the middle of the site. Everything west of that black line is half titled DNR or half titled Lake Heritage Parks Foundation, DNR. And then the east half of the site is all Lake County Park Board. That was acquired through a different grant and a different acquisition. That was the Roberts acquisition. And so with that, we also have the Beaver Dam site. That site was acquired through the Lake Michigan Partners NACA program. And so that one, we have another map there showing it, and that site, there's kind of a black line through a good portion of the site, especially the east half, along the edge of it, and that actually shows the portion that is owned half by DNR Lake Heritage Parks Foundation. The total site's about 355 acres. DNR Lake Heritage Parks Foundation are half titled about 240 acres. DNR owns exclusively 20 acres there along the north side of the property on 101st. They acquired that property first before any of the other properties acquired, and then Lake County Parks and then Lake Harris Parks Foundation had acquired an additional 95 acres since that initial acquisition. So that's kind of the breakdown on how those sites go. Basically what DNR would like to do, and this would be their Fish and Wildlife Division, and we'd like to start with the Cedar Lake Marsh site first if it would work out, but DNR would like to basically hunt those sites, waterfowl, deer, turkey, October through January. They would draw from those sites from LaSalle Fish and Wildlife Area. Lake County Parks and Rec, we would be in charge of the recreational side of those sites. You know, we wouldn't see, the sites would be open to the public, 365 days a year. However, if this would happen, then, there would be a portion of these sites that would be closed during the hunting season to the public for safety reasons. But the vast majority of the site will still be open for the public for walking and all kinds of other recreational opportunities. So, and then as far as what DNR would do for us, they would help us with some of the signage, some of the public access, providing that initially with some of the parking areas, making sure the boundaries are correctly identified. Also, some of the work needed to make the sites open to the public as far as, managing the invasive species, helping us with establishing more native species on the site, helping us manage some of our oak woodlands on the properties, that kind of thing. Right now, they're working on drafting an agreement for us for this. So we're going to have a new agreement here soon, and that one, we'll have to tweak that some, and then when we do that, we'll at that point bring it to the board. What also would have to happen was all the Lake Harris Parks Foundation side of that half titled that I mentioned, the foundation would have to deed over their portion of that property to the park board. The foundation wouldn't be owner at that point, and so, or at least be able to work with the Indiana DNR. So we'd want the park department then to be half titled with the state at that point. And then, the park department already has title to some of the other parcels adjacent, and then there's another parcel that foundation owns exclusively. So some of that could all then be, turned over to the park department. The parks would be in charge of the recreational side. So that's something we still probably need to work out with DNR because, the recreational side is the most important side, especially for us. These sites are, especially the Beaver Dam site, that site's in the middle of a lot more residential development than what you have on the Cedar Lake Marsh site. Town of Cherville has one last large piece of property left for residential development, the old Moores Tree Farm. And if you saw in the paper, that now is going up for development, that 800-acre site, and that's right up against Beaver Dam, south of 101st and also north of 101st. So the Beaver Dam site would take a little more doing just because of the amount of public and more residents around it. The Cedar Lake Marsh site at this point is still a little more undeveloped. And so I think that site probably lends itself more. It's a little larger of a site. And so also with the recreational side, we'd have to make sure that we work with DNR so that they also would help us with some of what we want to do there. Both sites, we want to have some sort of loop trail around the site for walking and, public contact area with restrooms. The Cedar Lake Marsh site could definitely maybe have a picnic shelter, small playground, that kind of thing, typically what you'd see in other park sites. So that would be great. So some of that would have to be worked out as well to make sure we get some assistance there. And then also, we'd want to go ahead and make sure then that, the plans that we put forth and the agreement we have would be able to help that all out. One of the other benefits would be DNR would help us with the land acquisition. We've got some other parcels nearby there that we would like to acquire. We have some willing sellers, and if that would be the case, DNR would be more willing to almost fund the entire acquisition at that point. So there's some benefits there. And then also, some of the management that would happen, all the management decisions would be between the department and the state, the DNR. So it wouldn't be one or the other exclusively leading the charge as far as getting the sites open. It would be decisions on both sides that would be made to make this happen. Also, we'd have to go to the board, of course, for everything that would be done. So you would know step by step as things progress and as they're open to the public. So they would like to do this sooner than later, so I think the Cedar Lake Marsh site would be the first one we'd look at doing. Like I said, the Beaver Dam site second, but we kind of want to just, present this to you so you kind of know what's coming. And as we, get some agreements together and some other ideas, we'll be able to bring that forth to you. So this is kind of the opening, planning of this whole idea and this whole area. But, for us, I know looking at the next 3 years, as we know of budgets, we don't have a whole lot of money available at this point to be able to open these sites ourselves to the public. So having the state and some of their resources to be able to help us would be a big benefit. And the Division of Fish and Wildlife is able to access those Pitt and Robertson funds, any of the sales of ammunition, guns, anything like that. That all goes back to fund some of that operation that Fish and Wildlife has. So, and then also with DNR as a partner, we should be better off as far as applying for trail funds and other things. So that could be a big benefit for us. And I know, there could be some issues as well with this, but this is kind of the start of it, and we'll see where it goes. So we just want to let you know what we're doing, and happy to answer a few questions if you have them right now.
So I got a question, a couple questions actually. As far as like if we end up letting them hunt that, is it still going to be I know you said LaSalle is going to take care of that stuff, but is it going to be a draw thing? Like as far as like you request, like when we do, you do pig or pheasant hunt, stuff like that, you put in for it, and then you get such and such dates for you and your party to go out there and hunt, or would it be on a daily basis? They go to LaSalle and draw for it, and then there'd be so many spots or something like that.
It would be daily.
Okay.
They would have to go through LaSalle daily, go there for the draw, and then they would draw for other areas and for LaSalle.
How many spots did you look into that as
well? I think that's still to be determined yet. They've kind of been on both sites, and so they maybe have an idea of how many blinds have to be there. But yeah, we're still,
And it would be more like Willow Slough or LaSalle where they don't actually have blinds, or you bring your own boat and put it in and hunt an area?
Yeah, this one, they'll actually provide the blinds, so the state will put the blinds in, and then they'll have, I don't think they're gonna need to have boats. These blinds would be in the periphery of the marsh, opening into some of the, opening up into some of the open water areas, so they wouldn't need boats on this, because right now, the state, that's one thing they do not provide. They don't provide boats, and that's one thing we provide. Yeah, they did, and we provide boats at Grand Kankakee Marsh, which is one of the reasons why hunters like Grand Kankakee Marsh, we still provide that. So yeah, with the way they think they can set it up, we wouldn't really need to have the boat. So we'll see how that goes. But we don't know the exact number yet or quantity, and then we'll also see with some of what they want to do with some of the controlling the water elevations, that kind of thing, and managing some of that. So there's a lot to be determined yet. So.
Yeah, it's interesting. And then as far as like the recreational part of it for the public and stuff, other than the hunting, would that kind of be where we made that acquisition off of Morris? Kind of come and access it off of there?
Yeah, that would be a great spot.
It would be for somewhat of a little park or a parking area with some stuff. Yeah.
And we got a house there and some of the outbuildings where Brett was at, but it still would be a great spot for that. And then from there, you could have a good starting point.
Right.
And then, if they would hunt, say, the west half of the property, that east half could maybe be a reserve area where, because we have that GKM where there's certain areas you don't hunt. Leave it open.
Refuge.
Refuge, yeah.
The birds are all gonna leave.
Yeah.
Well, that's where all the details we still haven't, we've talked about it in general with them.
It's very interesting.
And it would only be.
I used to be a very avid waterfall hunter for years. I've been to Mexico, Canada, all across the United States, but I don't have time to do it anymore. But it's very interesting because I've been through many of the draw processes and everything everywhere for years. Since I was a kid. I understand the concept of it very well.
And it wouldn't be every day of the week. I mean, from what they're saying, maybe, a few days a week or something. We're not sure yet, but they don't want too much pressure on it either.
Yeah, too much pressure is push them out, and then the public around there. There's part on the like more on the north side of the marsh there. There's a lot of houses in there, and you got those $1 million houses too, where
Oh, yeah.
somebody's banging all the time over there, that's,
Yeah.
they're probably not gonna like that, but they do hunt the lake too, so they hear it on the lake, the lake's public, so.
Yeah.
So it's not as bad as it used to be,
Mhm.
but you can hear it over there too.
Right.
Very good, I appreciate the,
Yeah.
on that, it's a
Yeah,
great
you'll be-
idea.
You're hearing more about it. So.
And the Beaver Dam part of it is the one right off 101st there.
Yeah, between 101st and 231 and the
Yeah.
Green Acres on the west and
Yeah.
West Point Acres on the east. And,
And
yeah.
just to the west of the Beaver Dam area, and on the north side of 101st, we actually just started building, doing the stripping for a new subdivision going in there.
Yeah.
It's a Y-Tex in there right now doing that. So.
Yeah, between 93rd or 91st and 101st, I think.
Yep.
Yep. Yeah, no, there's a lot going on, and then the, subdivision from St. John's moving in from the west as well, so, this site's slowly
So
being.
there's gonna be a lot of concern at that. at that
Yeah,
site.
and then that, so
But
that
the
lures,
DNR doesn't seem to be.
And they don't seem to be concerned about it.
Right, there, we'll see.
It's far enough away a little bit right now. I think within a couple of years, you might have. When those, start putting all those subdivisions there. I think,
especially
like where it's at, in front of the old lures on the south side of lures, because we ran a pipeline through there, believe it or not, there's a 8-inch natural gas line that goes through there. I went through that whole property, actually on that project, I'll put that in. That, I don't know if they'll be able to build anything on right across from it, but definitely to the west of it, you're gonna see something, and then everything to the north and to the east, I think that's unbuildable, kind of off of,
I can,
whatever that is, of Clark Road or whatever that is over there.
Yeah, I can share it with you, but if you look at the kind of conceptual plan that Cherville just got at their last plan commission meeting, a lot of the property that's north and west of Beaver Dam and then right across the street on First, that's all really gonna be open space and wetland areas and detention, so there would be a lot of buffer between that and the park, so that's all positive.
Good.
Yeah.
Very good, thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. That's what I got for you.
Good.
Great,
Yeah.
bring back to it.
Just a couple upcoming events and programs in my division. First up is Bellavu's. We're completely live for the second annual Play Summit that we are hosting in conjunction with IPRA. Last year, there were over 50 attendees. It's August 26th from 8:30 to 4 p.m. Great program. They had over 50 people come out last year. If you know any park professionals, educators, or anything, this along for sure. With the luckily and programming staff, I'll start with the programming staff first. September 5th, they will be hosting the Party in the Park at Lemon Lake. This is from 4 to 6 p.m. A little bit of a play off of our playground grand opening we had last year there, and this year we're going to partner with the Cedar Lake Parks Department, Nerf Gun Wars, a couple food trucks, just playground open, music, karaoke, a whole bunch of kids stuff. So that'll be September 5th from 4 to 6 p.m. The Buckley and programming staff together, they are getting ready for all their events. They have Sleepy Hollow coming up, as well as Fall Fest. Sleepy Hollow ticket sales will occur Saturday, August 23rd at 9 a.m.
Hang on.
at Buckley Homestead. That is Saturday, August 23rd, 9 a.m. at Buckley Homestead. For anyone that might be interested that missed out on tickets last year, this is an event that sells out almost every year. Last year it did sell out once again in the morning of Buckley, I think an hour. People started lining up, I think 5:30, 6 o'clock at Buckley for this. So it is an event in itself. The show itself doesn't take place though until September 12th and 13th. The Deep River Grinders, they hosted the Shriners 2 weekends ago now, and it couldn't be better someday. 78 degrees, no humidity. They saw over 500 people come out to the game. In your board packet, there is a nice little article from the Times. That got printed.
Did you make your goal?
They did make their goal. This year, yes, I do. They raised $7,537 to donate back to the Shriners Children's Hospital. And that brings their grand total since 2012 to $53,636. Pretty large, I don't think we bring up the nations.
Well, we got a couple of grinders, like Dave Kirkhoff, who grinded a check for 2,500, and this Ron who did it for 15. There's some big donations and others. And we have a volunteer who doesn't want to be named or whatever that makes a quilt every year. We run raffles separately. For like that raffle's a $5 ticket. We raise $1,200 on the quilt alone. And then the other raffle, I don't know what the numbers are. We do raffle autograph, because an autograph baseball, a poster. We had a bat. Was that bat donated? From Phoenix Bat, and then a chance to put a pie in the face of the grinder of your choice. And that always does well. Everybody needs a signed baseball from the grinders, but that went pretty hard. Yeah, well, I didn't want to jump on, but it's one of those things. And when we go to we were just in Danville, Illinois, playing at a tournament, I guess, against the Bulls, and everybody's always amazed at the people we get, 300 and 350. And my wife, Sandy, she keeps score. She was walking before the game, talking to people coming 15, 20 years. They know the shtick, they know the whole deal. And it's amazing. Diane talked to the people that come, and it's because of the players and because it's a program. And a lot of stuff in vintage baseball, they're just guys playing baseball. But we bring these people out, and it was a beautiful day.
You could have asked for better.
Oh, but the week before, when we had the brewmasters and the muffins, and it rained, and we still had like 40 some people out there sitting in the rain watching a game.
Yeah, I remember looking at the forecast all week leading up to this game. Please don't rain. We need that
But
field. We need that field.
We play baseball because, it doesn't matter how old you are, you're still about 10, and playing in the rain is just as good as playing in the sun.
So just wanted to thank the grinders and all the fans for coming up. That is a huge number that they've done for the Shriners. And then their next home game is Sunday, August 24th at 2 p.m. And then the last thing I have, there's also a copy of this in your board packet. A lot of times people reach out to us because they've had big experience. Whatever the case is, that's most often people reach out to you. But this case, it wasn't. A Facebook message from someone that was in our programs. And so I wanted to include this here. I've enjoyed doing the events at Butler Homestead for years growing up, and most recently I began to bring my daughter to events. And most recently went to the Finding Flopsy in Buckley at night events. All events are always well put together. My daughter lost an item during the Buckley at night event, and Dan went above and beyond to find and return the items. He also took us on a personal tour to meet the goats, which was one of our daughter's favorite animals. We cannot wait to attend. And Dan has worked for us now for about a year and a half. He volunteered before that. He started as a part-timer and was recently just promoted to our historical programmer. This Buckley at night event was a night hike. It was actually his very first program. I wanted to give a shout out to Dan Reed for that because it is those little things. It is. I know. I opened up my email and I see Facebook post and I'm like, it's okay.
Really thoroughly impressed with all the stuff that you guys do at those, like Stony Run and all that stuff on it. It's amazing. I never knew that Buckley and all that stuff that they did, all that stuff. I think Buckley has been there so long that when I was at school back in the day, you know what I mean? We went there on a field trip or something, but the stuff that you guys do now is amazing. So very kudos to you guys for coming up with all the good ideas.
There's definitely some good programming staff out there that are creative, innovative.
Yeah, great.
Well, yeah, not just programming, even the park management that has changed over the years down at Buckley. Yeah,
Yeah,
they've
and
been,
I think it's a.
not roadblocks, they are absolutely out there
Yeah,
helping.
I think we see a lot more of the park managers saying, you know, bring more to my sites, we need to do more, and not just be a park with a shelter and a playground that people can actively involved.
And I think the public shows that by attending the events and now you're getting people that are repeat customers and usually that is what it's intended for. So awesome, very good.
Thank you.
Yeah.
All right, well, the golf courses both had really good months this month, excuse me. Turkey Creek had a lot of, private events or, you know, charity events that were out there. And kudos to the staff at both golf courses actually for taking such good care of the course in the heat. It's been brutal out there for them, and they've been out there working really hard to keep the courses in good shape and playable. And we've been talking a lot, or we were talking at last month board meeting about the pre-roundabout construction, the utility construction on 231. We were kind of worried about how that was going to affect Cedar Creek, but they had a phenomenal month. Including they had their busiest day they've ever had at over 100 rounds of golf on course Saturday. And it was been crazy. So hopefully that carries through into next year in 2026 when they actually do the roundabout construction.
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, they finally reopened it.
Yeah, they finally did.
Finally
Yeah,
reopened.
30 was open, the Klein's still closed.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
gotta go that way every day. I was at Paris and I saw all the cars going east and west. I'm like, oh man, so the next day I went, it's still closed. It's about Paris.
It's Cedar Creek too, I'm sorry to step on you, Chris, but they posted these numbers in the middle of having major mechanical problems. We ended up with water in the gas on the site, and golf carts were going down right and left, mowers were going down right and left.
Yeah.
I mean, we were just really struggling with some of that stuff. And thanks to Diane for reaching out to our fuel supplier and putting them on blast, basically, kind of almost embarrassing them into getting out there and getting things solved. She did a great job with that. And Chris, staff stayed on it. Everybody got what they needed to get done. And as a result, we had some great numbers. So
Yeah, that's impressive to kick it up that much. For
Yeah.
Sure. So.
And then tying in a little bit with the IT side at Turkey Creek, we're working with Golf Now. This is a project that kind of just started. We're going to work on moving the booking engine online, so that will tie into the Lake County Parks website. It's something that we have never really kind of dabbled in, but it's something we're going to try doing moving forward. And that change will allow people to book tee times online in advance. It will also allow us to do a little bit of like dynamic pricing. If there's like a day where the weather is looking a little bit iffy, we can kind of lower the price down. That's something we might in 2026 once this all gets going. Because we've talked about dynamic pricing before with the board of the water park facilities. So this is a project we're working on with Golf Now, and hopefully we'll be able to continue that successfully and have that up and running here shortly at the end of the year, they're saying. Over at the water park, counting down, it's almost over, only 8 more days of being open. Not that anybody's counting, I saw you just make a face. They had a really good July though. All of our private events, except for one, went off without a hitch. The weather-related event that they had canceled their event because of the weather. But all the rest went off, which was awesome. All the ones that we threw ourselves, which was we threw the 3 events this year. We got just under 6,000 people across all 3 of those events. Staff was really excited with the turnout of that. It's been a long time since we've really thrown an event like that. And just to kind of get the turnout and get everybody out there that we got out there was really good. And staff was really positive about it. And the guests were really positive about it too. They liked being out there at night and kind of some of the themed things that we had going on. And all the raffles and all the giveaways that we had done with people coming in. And kudos to the water park staff as well for just being out there at night heat every day. It's winding that down where the kids don't want to be there and it's hot and they've weathered their butts off all summer and they're just ready for a break. So kudos to them for being out there every day, the lifeguards, and being out there in the heat and dealing with it. Could always be better, but it's been a really good summer and everybody's really encouraged by the attendance and what we've seen so far at the water park this year. The attendance is definitely up over the last 3 to 4 years if you look at it that far back. So a lot of interest this year, a lot of people coming back, and we've also, there's been a lot of increase in in-park spending. Jim always tells me there's another PFG invoice, there's another which is another PFG invoice. We've been selling a lot of food this year, which is really quick for us. It's exactly all the fried stuff. Yeah. Yeah, and Dippin' Dots as well, yeah, this always selling about once or twice a week, we get a shipment of those. Other than that, that's really all I have, if there's any questions.
The hard part is those invoices are bigger, and then when I look at it, I'm like, oh, that costs a lot.
It costs a lot with it.
Is that right, $1.20 for a patty for a hamburger?
Yeah.
Is my math correct?
Yeah. And that's not even a pre-cooked patty, that's a raw.
Yeah, that's what we used to pay less than that for
Free
free.
got a piece of cheese on your cheese.
I know.
McDonald's, it's $1 just for the cheese on it.
Because I used to do all the ordering and
Yeah.
then I look at the bills and I'm looking at invoices and it's that sticker shock.
Yeah.
And I know it, it's not like I should be surprised,
Right.
but,
Right.
it's one of those, oh,
Well, and I'll take it from you, Chris, if you guys don't mind, I'll just move on.
Please do.
The water park this year saw a record number of season pass sales, right? And I mean, that was I think it was a record, even it surpassed the year he gave it away, didn't it?
I believe it was pretty close.
Yeah, I think it was pretty darn close. I think we got a record this year. Yeah, you can breathe easy now, Jim. But that was a big deal, and that happened before the heat of the summer. It's easy to sell that stuff when it's 95 degrees out, but you've seen an increased interest, and I think it's positive, and it feels good to see that. It feels good to see the numbers up. And I would say for the rest of the park staff, everybody's had to deal with the heat. It's not just the water park folks or the folks doing the programs or the golf course. It's everybody. It's our mechanics. It's the carpenters, everybody that's out there every day, the techs, the ground techs, all those folks. So everybody's done a great job, and we really haven't seen, we always see a lot of issues, most of them this year related to age, not so much heat with some of the staff. Everybody gets a sick staff member every now and again, but at least it wasn't heat. I wasn't talking about you. Oh, I've got a few. But anyway, it's been better, and so staff's really dealt with it well. So thank you to everybody that's been out there all summer long, grinding away. It's made a big difference. As far as mechanics and the carpenters go, this is a time of year where they're starting to switch over. They should be coming into August and into September, starting to get ready for winter, getting that equipment going. I know we've got a couple pieces out there that we're gonna have to deal with and before the snow flies. So it seems crazy to be talking like that right now, but that's where we're at. Carpentry staff this has probably been one of the best crews that I think we've ever had. Couldn't be happier with these guys. They're constantly out there doing something, and they're taking on bigger projects, more projects, and they seem to be much more successful at it than they have been in the past. So very happy with them and what they've been doing this year. So that would be my what I have to say about staff. And then as far as our year-to-date expense report, revenue expense report, things look good, but as we know, things can change like that. So we rely on staff to make smart decisions, and we're really going to have to watch. We're going to have to watch money. We know that. We know what's coming in the next few years. So things look good right now, though, and I'm sure there's some big invoices that haven't come in yet, too. So
insurance.
yeah, and insurance, and maybe more utilities.
One more utility.
Yeah. So anyway, but I really don't have much else.
Payroll will be the big thing, like your payroll, but that's
A good summer is a good summer.
Yeah.
So nobody has any other questions, I'll turn it over.
Did you want to mention anything about, I know we didn't talk about it, about the survey, or Diane's been really working hard at going and getting the survey for the 5-year master plan, things that we want to move into, and she's been getting lots of public input, but I'll let you, if you want to do it.
Sure. I mentioned it to you because I wanted to make sure that I didn't do it because of Julie that we actually got to be at the Lake County Fair. And so not only was the survey stand there, but we also put out a program guide, and they were right next to the cooling center. So they were kind of flying off the magazine rack. So definitely that hopefully we got some surveys from that, but also like more people knowing about our programs for the rest of the year is actually just going to make it pretty Yeah, so I just wanted, I said to Jim, can I make a point to say thank you for giving us into the fair, because 1,000, like the first weekend wasn't like. Yeah.
Get into this.
Yeah, so even just having the eyes on, even if they didn't take the survey, they know it's out there, and same with our program guys, at least they're seeing Lake County Parks, you know, and everyone that walks the 4-H building. But we also were at Hobart Community Night, we were invited to the Gary Air Show, and we're up to about 600, a little over 600 surveys submitted, so but we got 2 more months, so hopefully we'll still be out there doing. We're doing the best we can, but you know, people don't always want to.
But to Diane's point, to what you were saying earlier, Mike, the getting the name out in a constant subliminal, there it is way, you know, radio, television, all that's very expensive. No matter how you look at it, even printing our Pathfinders. So any way you can get people that the name is always out there. And I can guarantee you without even knowing that there's a lot of people in North County that don't know about Buckley Homestead or Deep River or other stuff. It's just that distance and area. And the biggest problem we have, you know, sure, we can survey the people in the parks, but we really need to survey the people who don't know anything about us. And that's the tough part. Direct mail doesn't really work anymore because you're just going to throw it away.
Right.
Nobody's going to answer their phone because you don't know that. I mean, it's really, it's a struggle to do surveys, and Diane's doing a great job of getting surveys, and we'll use this information and all as a means for us to work through and see what pops out. And, you know, we know that trails are big, we know certain things are there, so, but it's all about that and all about pushing it out. And then next month, I'll talk a bit more about Indiana Parks and Recreation Association. We're doing a big public awareness campaign about parks. We did a bunch of surveys, did a lot of economic analysis of the impact of parks. And I'll provide more at the next meeting. And the state has a committee in the agricultural committee in this session, which is not a budget session, that's going to be studying the impact of open space and recreation and its economics. So we're gearing up to make sure everybody understands our importance, and the co-chair is Mike Aylesworth, that's the only local person, and I know Mike and Nicole Madera, that's her uncle, he's on the IPRA board, so we're gonna get everything we can out there to people and say, hey, particularly given the upcoming budget issues we will be facing, that we are an essential service and we are critical to having a wealthy community, not just quality of life, but money. Indiana has a 15 in outdoor recreation. Indiana's contribution to outdoor recreation or its impact is $15 billion.
Wow.
A lot of it's in RVs and all being made, but it's still outdoor rec, and it means outdoor recreation means a huge thing in Indiana.
Right.
So I'll be passing all that out next time. Got to make copies. It's kind of dry, but you know.
RVs.
If that's all the division reports, general discussion.
When will the Sleepy Hollow tickets be available?
In the morning on the 26th.
It's the right information.
Sorry.
I didn't mean to call you.
If there's no other general discussion, do we have a motion to adjourn?
Motion.
We're adjourned.
Jim, thank you.
You're welcome, Dave. Appreciate you being there. All right, bye-bye.
Great.
You done with baseball?